Hello, I'm Siobhan. Here's Sara. That's my dad. My dad told me he wanted me to go to Africa when I was around 12 or 13.
My name's Sara.
I'm Siobhan. We're cousins.
Yes. Basically, we've been sisters since we were born.
I went to Ethiopia with Siobhan, my cousin. We've been best friends since we were in diapers.
I really didn't know what to expect. Like, I knew we were going to be visiting charities and helping people and stuff like that, but like I had no idea what it was going to be like there.
And we were lucky that we both got to go on the trip together because we said to each other that I don't know how I would have done it if it was just by myself or we didn't have each other to come back at the end of the day and talk about it, talk about what we've seen and what we've done and how it affects us and what we're going to do with it. But since we wanted to go together, we wanted to tape everything and record everything. Siobhan over here, she was usually the one taping everything, and we were both like asking questions on and off, and she had the microphone.
I was the camera girl.
Yeah.
We're currently boarding the plane. I'm dying. I'm so tired. 14 hours. Here we go. I can't believe it's here. Sarah's hard at work.
Writing down questions.
We're currently on the plane writing down questions.
We got some good ones, so we're excited. We're nervous.
Yes. We're nervous but excited. Because we've never really interviewed anyone before, so.
Hi! I can't sleep. I can't sleep. And Siobhan's sleeping. You can't really see her. She's sleeping. My uncle's sleeping. And everyone's sleeping. And I can't sleep. I'm so excited to see the kids and to experience everything in Ethiopia.
I currently just woke up and Sarah's sleeping. I'm so excited to get to Ethiopia. I cannot sleep any longer.
We're here! We're finally here!
We are in Africa.
When we actually landed, we're looking, I was on the window seat, so I was like looking out and, looking at the land. And all I saw was just green. There were some trees, but it was just all green, and then, the desert.
The land is like desert. I didn't even realize that. And the houses were really close together when we passed them. I can't believe we're in Africa. This is so crazy. Oh my god, I'm freaking out. Oh my god.
The land is so pretty here though.
Yeah, it's really
it's
pretty.
so different, but I like it a lot.
I'm ready. We are ready for this trip.
Hi, Mom. Hi, I just landed. Hi, yeah. Guess what happened though? I fainted in the airport. Yeah, I'm okay though now. I don't know, it was just very overwhelming, and I was hungry, and I felt like I was going to, and then all of a sudden I woke up and Uncle Michael was over me. But we got the whole line through customs.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is how the trip's starting. Sarah just fainted. It's a lot different here. I'll show you.
Yeah, I had the two nutrition bars in my bag.
It's probably the Pop-Tart or something.
So I'll have something to go back to the
That's the cathedral? Yeah. That's the old cathedral, the oldest church.
It would be good if social responsibility applied to everybody.
What development is really about is the ability of individuals and families to pursue their own hopes and dreams. And education and healthcare are fundamental to that.
That was so overwhelming. Like, I've been to hospitals here obviously before for like stuff with me, like, I don't know, like injuries and stuff like that. And that hospital apparently is one of the nicest hospitals there.
There was no lighting, it was dim lighting.
And there was water on the floor, and it was just really dirty.
We went in to see the nursery where the babies were, and there were these incubators.
There was 3 babies in one incubator.
And the babies were so small, and you could see they were so sick.
The diapers they had were huge on them. Like they didn't have the right size. They just need simple things.
It was emotional. It was emotional to see the 3 babies just squished in an incubator that wasn't even that big. And you could see them taking their breaths, and you could see them, you know, struggling. And the moms would just be staring at their child in the incubator and just looking at them and feeling, I'm sure, sorrow and helpless.
They just need simple things. Like an incubator costs $500, and me going to a big high school, it's so easy for people to bring in diapers. They're so easy to get here.
Ethiopia is a very important country located in East Africa, what's called the Horn of Africa, a very dry, arid area.
If you go back 2,500 years, it's been the center of 3 major religions.
The people of Ethiopia have historically been entrepreneurs. They've been traders. They are some of the best business people in East Africa.
If you go back as far as the Queen of Sheba, she had a love affair with King Solomon of Israel 3,000 years ago. So it is a fascinating place.
At the end of the Second World War, for a wide variety of reasons, there was a period of great civil war and violence in the Horn of Africa, including in Ethiopia. And a lot of what was part of the country was destroyed and was sort of driven apart by these conflicts.
We met Abraham on Monday.
Abraham was one of the nicest people I have ever met.
A lot of people in Ethiopia, you know, they leave for better opportunities in America, but instead he came back for his people in Ethiopia.
You just felt really comfortable around him, and we met his wife.
And his wife was so nice. We went to her jewelry store one day, and she let us make bracelets, and they really made our trip so much better. They really helped us soak us into the culture as much as possible.
And he showed us his library and the soup kitchen. His library was kind of like a school. There was a lot of like little children there. I connected with some of the kids. He had like computers there.
The computers were given to us by UNICEF.
A lot of books and a teacher.
The soup kitchens were definitely heartbreaking. We went to 2 of them, but the one we went to with Abraham, that was the Hope Enterprises.
And I've been to soup kitchens before, but that was definitely by far one of the most eye-opening.
We stood behind, you know, the soup kitchen, and we saw these kids who were probably like 10 years old, and for them not to, you know, be able to be fed and have to come to the soup kitchen was devastating. They would come to the window and, you know, get the plate so quick because they were starving. And that was like the only food that they could count on throughout the whole day. And I kind of felt bad then going out to dinner and eating this big meal, like, and I was like, all right, like, I don't need all this. And then I realized that too with it, you know, you don't need all the food you're eating, and you don't need, you know, everything you want when you see the people there have as little as they are, but them be so satisfied and happy. We actually went to his girls' home, and we were able to talk to the girls.
The girls that are at his program, he got off the side of the road because like a lot of them were getting involved in bad things like drugs and like being raped.
And we were able to talk to the girls, and they were, you know, we're all sitting around in a circle, and they were telling us everything that they wanted to do when they were older. And they were saying that they wanted to be actresses and lawyers and nurses, and I started getting tears in my eyes.
And the fact that like they've gone through so much and they still have hopes and dreams just gave me hope. Like these people have been through so much, and look at them now. Like it made me never want to like give up no matter what I'm going through.
The difference between people who are very poor in Ethiopia and people who are very poor in the US is in Ethiopia there are no government services, there's no health insurance, there are no food stamps, and because of that, people who are very poor, people who have disabilities, have a very difficult time really providing for themselves.
I feel like appearance is kind of like a big deal, and like those kids were like basically outcast just because they had like one little thing, like a cleft lip that can be fixed by like one surgery. We met Kia from Operation Smile.
And what are your goals for your program?
Good question. A lot, actually. There is a lot of potential in this region. For Ethiopia, our goal is 100% funded, either locally or by international companies that support Ethiopia.
So Siobhan started a club at her school for Operation Smile.
I started the club with my friend Gina. This year we raised $2,000 for Operation Smile.
When we found out we were going to Africa, I wanted to fundraise money for it too. With me and Siobhan's money combined, we raised about $4,000.
Our goal is to train plastic surgeons, train new specialties, and then in the next 5 to 10 years have locally run programs here and then all across Africa. So our sort of goal in Africa is Africans helping Africans. So we really try to do regional exchange rather than international volunteers and sort of local ownership of community projects.
When you have come through so many decades of war, of violence, of poverty, it's not like flipping your light switch. There are problems whose solutions will strengthen the ability to grow in the future. So if you can build a new school, if you can educate, then it is those educated young people who can then become part of that long-term solution.
And young people are probably the most valuable natural resource any country has. If a country is rich in gold, the way they exploit it is they take it out of the ground. In order to exploit the resource of young people, you have to educate them.
I know that I was not smarter than the children I grew up with. I just had better opportunities. Where I was a direct reflection of what my childhood was like, and I wanted to institutionalize that and provide opportunities for children who don't really have the resources.
The work that I lead in Africa is called Secure the Future. And what is the future without children?
Seeds of Africa's pilot program started in 2009 with 15 students and about a couple $100 in my mother's backyard. We provide all the educational services at Seeds, and they don't have to pay for any of the services.
So when we arrived at Seeds,
they just prepared so much for our arrival. It was really cute.
And they started performing a song for us saying welcome.
You cry at some points because you see how little they have and how hard parts of their life are. And you know, some of them have HIV positive parents. They all come from super low income households.
The majority of our students come from families that make around and under $60 per month. They used to have to work, especially the older ones, to support the family. But since they've been with Seeds, we provide some food subsidies for them and their families so that they don't have to work after school. They can just come to our program and just be children and be free and get educated and have fun.
When you're sitting in class and you're starving, you know, nothing gets done. All you think about is what you're gonna eat and you're not listening to the teacher.
That's why we provide meals in our center, 2 or 3 meals a day when they're there.
It helps you so much when you're actually not starving throughout the whole entire day. You learn so much more.
To design our curriculum, we were inspired by a model called Reggio Emilia.
They showed us the school, and it was so clean and so organized, and they had so many different crafts there.
Children should have the opportunity to explore on their own with guidance of adults. For example, they would use an arts project to understand a science problem. And when they do that, they actually end up learning more and being more interested in different subject matters. Our students know how to think about an idea, come up with a plan, come up with a project, and then provide a report about the project.
What I do is I work with the parents of our students. So we offer literacy courses because many of our parents are illiterate.
I think their mission is basically to get as many families involved.
I remember growing up and my mother being very much present in my academic life. I think the challenge with children that come from poverty, extreme poverty, is that their parents have to work so many hours, and the other times they're not educated, so it's very difficult for them to be very engaged in their children's academic lives.
We really engage with the whole family of the student, so we have like community chats, we call them. The parents of the kids come and spend time at our school and our center. They see the work that the kids do. It's a community feel to it, which is really great.
The kids there were definitely the sweetest kids we met and the most innocent, and like we connected with them by far the most. I brought a bag of like my old soccer stuff and then soccer balls.
And they were just so happy with this one soccer ball.
And they loved it. Like they started playing with the soccer ball right when we gave it to them.
I was looking around, and then all of a sudden I just looked at this one little boy, and he had these big brown eyes, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and then I looked away, and I just couldn't keep looking away. I just had to look back at him, and I looked back, and he's giving me this huge smile, and I was like, oh my gosh, and automatically it just like touched my heart.
They'd just come up to us and hug us, and they'd be like, are you coming back tomorrow?
We took a bunch of pictures of us, and they loved the camera. They loved taking the pictures and things like that. So it was nice. It was a really good day there.
So we're finally on our flight home. I just saw lightning, I think. I'm kind of scared. Seeing these people in Ethiopia be so happy makes me never want to take anything for granted ever again. I'm definitely changing. I don't think anyone is really going to understand.
When I looked into that boy's eyes at school, I just felt this like rush of energy throughout my body that was like, okay, it doesn't matter where I'm from or who I am or whatever, it matters about these people in this country here. And I was just so taken back, and I didn't know how to express myself there because I wasn't in my comfortable surrounding, but I just knew I needed to do something. And do you think it's good for young people to get involved in philanthropy or get involved in the documentary to try to promote awareness?
I think this is very inspiring for the older people when young people get involved at a young age. I think all generations should be involved, but it's exciting that you at the age of 16 or 17 get super proactive in doing something at this level.
What's exciting these days is young people are very engaged and energetic about understanding the complexities of the challenges around the world and actually doing something about it. Actually traveling to those developing countries and actually getting a better sense of the exact challenges and then using their talents and their skills and energies to solve the problems.
I always say that philanthropy is not about the money, and that's a mistake we make. Money is only the way we measure the dollars. Philanthropy is really about leadership.
The engagement of young people in projects like this is the coolest thing there is.
It is exciting when you actually see young people that are not thinking about what model of iPod am I gonna get next, but who are actually willing to take time to go and learn about different cultures, about different circumstances.
This just shows like if you want to put the time and then it can be done. Like you, even though we're young, so like you could still like make it like a huge difference.
I think that they're making a good effort to try to help people and raise money.
A lot of their friends are like out like hanging out right now and they're actually like doing something productive. Like they're like trying to help the world.
As the saying goes, I've been around the block. And there were many times where I just thought we were just not doing things correctly, and we were actually making problems worse rather than better. When I look at the young people, whether it's the young people who work here at this company or the young people watching this documentary, I am hugely optimistic about the future. This coming generation of leaders are smarter. First of all, they're smarter than any of us ever were. They are much more aware of the world. They are creative. They know how to solve problems. They know how to bring innovation to problems. They're not satisfied with the way things are. And they believe that they can make a difference.
And I thought like I was gonna, go and like meet all these people and like affect them and try to like step in their world and fix things as much as I can. But for like them to impact our lives, I feel like more than we would probably impact them was like magical.
It was magical. I mean, yeah, I thought we were gonna help them, but they really changed us and just made us more grateful for everything we have.
Think of the word responsibility. You cannot shake away your responsibility because you do know that there are children that go to school without food, that there are children that don't have a mother who wake them up in the morning. There are children who say, what am I gonna eat tonight? And it makes them think, hopefully, it will make them better people, better adults, better leaders of industry. When they are running these organizations, we don't want them to forget that there are others to whom they may have responsibilities just by the virtue of the privilege that they have had.
And I believe that we are going to make enormous progress globally. Not because of my generation, but because the young generation has basically said to itself and to one another, we are going to fix this. Because I do believe that this next generation of people, this next generation of young people, believes in their hearts, believes in their souls, that they are leaders and that they can lead.
If we don't even raise a dime, like if we could just like show people like what we saw and all the things that are really happening on the other side of the world that some people will either get the chance to see or some of them won't even like care to like explore for a second, just like look at it and try to get interested in it and see what's going on outside our comfort zone every day and look what's happening to other people since we are all connected and if we could help just by the little bit, then that would mean so much.